Oh boy, Winota, eh? Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. Opponent. Whiff. Whiff. Come on, give us three whiffs. Three whiffs. Woo! Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and you can order Commander Legends now over at cardkingdom.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing. So, a little while ago now, a viewer named Crazy Kickler sent me a green-white tokens list for Modern. They said, hey Seth, I 5-0'd a Modern League with it, which was later confirmed by Wizards publishing the list. You should check it out, play it for Much Abrew, and the list looked pretty interesting. I mean, tokens are a sweet archetype. You get to play weird cards like Sapperling Migration, some interesting payoffs like Nissa Voices Zendikar, so I figured, could be a good Much Abrew deck. So today, we're going to take Crazy Kickler's green-white tokens list through a link, see how it goes, see what happens. Can tokens be competitive in the Modern format? So let's talk about the deck, jump into our league, see it in action. So first off, we got our token production, and on the first couple turns of the game, we got Legion's Landing, Raise the Alarm, Sapperling Migration. These cards work really well together. In our dream world, we turn with Legion's Landing, turn 2 any of our X2 token producing cards. Then on turn 3, we get to flip Legion's Landing, get an extra land, which accelerates us into our bigger things. But really, we're just getting tokens on the battlefield. And as our token curve continues, in the 3-ish mana slot, we got Lingering Soul, Spectral Procession, each of which puts a bunch of flying tokens on the battlefield. Spectral Procession can be 3 flyers for 3 mana if we got enough white mana. Lingering Souls, because of Flashback, can be 4 tokens for 5 mana total. And then we have one March of the Multitudes, which, I'm not sure about this one. It might be a little bit win more, but it can make a ridiculous amount of tokens at instant speed if we can invoke it out with the help of our other tokens. So these cards make a bunch of tokens. Then we have our token payoffs. We have 3 big ones. Intangible Virtue, probably the best of the bunch. Just 2-minute Anthem that gives all of our tokens +1/+1 in Vigilance. Vigilance might not seem like a big deal, but it actually is. It means we can like swing in with our whole team of Lingering Souls, Spectral Procession tokens, get in a bunch of damage, but then still have chump blockers back if we got to stop a big Tarmogoyf or Death Shadow or something. So we can play offense, defense really well. Nissa Voices Zendikar, -2 puts a +1/+1 counter on each of our creatures, so another way to Anthem our tokens. Much of the time we like play it plus it once to make a plant, and then -2/-2 to get a double Anthem out of it. Venerated Loxodon, I don't know how I feel about this one. On one hand, it does lead to some really explosive plays where we can like turn 1, make a token with Legion's Landing, turn 2, make a couple Sapperlings with Sapperling Migration, turn 3, Spectral Procession to make a bunch of flyers, and then Venerated Loxodon can invoke it out for free, put a counter on all of our tokens. That's a very powerful start. The downside is it does require us to tap our team, so we're giving up immediate damage by attacking with our tokens with the hopes that we're going to get more damage in the long run by growing our tokens and getting a Venerated Loxodon. Most of the time that's fine. Sometimes we do that and our opponent's like, oh sweet, Supreme Verdict you, or whatever, Wrath of God you, Damnation you, or Terminus you, God forbid. And then we are very sad that we didn't get in the damage, but still the explosiveness of Venerated Loxodon, often being a free 4/4 that grows a bunch of our tokens, still makes it worthwhile in the deck. We also have a few kind of weird things. Kytheon, it's kind of backup Legion's Landing. Like, technically, we can do the same trick where we play something that makes 2 tokens on turn 2, we attack with everything, we flip Kytheon, get a medium-powered Planeswalker, I would say, out of the deal. So, it's okay in the deck. One Appeal to Authority, if we got a bunch of tokens, can trample up one creature, make it big, kill our opponent one shot. Conclave Tribunal, our main removal spell, gets rid of anything, which is a nice upside, does often require tapping some tokens, but still, getting anything is a nice bonus. Mana base wise, we get a couple of interesting lands. One, Westfield Abbey, if we get 5 tokens, we can transform it into a big, lifelinking, indestructible Orbidol. Chef of Dudes, more pumping, Horizon Canopy, keeps us from flooding out. Then we just have fetch lands, shock lands, basic lands, pretty straightforward stuff. As far as our sideboard, we have a bunch of stuff for control. Veil of Summer, Heroic Intervention to fizzle Ras, Gideon, also really good against control. For aggro, Path to Exile, Auriac Champion for some life gain. Kaya's also pretty good against aggro with life gain and killing small things. And then Rest in Peace for graveyard decks. And that is green-white tokens from Crazy Kickler for Modern. That's our Much Abrew deck for this week. So Yeah, let's token some fools. See if it actually works. Can we go wide enough to win? Little worried about how the unfair matchups will be. This seems like a deck that's really good at like going wide, chump blocking against creature decks, and winning because so many of our cards put 2 or 3 or even 4 things on the battlefield. Like, how are you ever going to beat this with 1-for-1 removal? I don't think you're going to. On the other end, if our opponent has sweepers, or if they're just comboing off quickly, because our deck's probably not going to win to like turn 4, turn 5 with a good draw. If you're just storming off on turn 3 or oops all spelling us, things might go a little worse. So anyway, let's jump into the league, see how it goes. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Crazy Kickler for sending in a sweet deck, and I'll be back in a bit with the wrap up. All right. Much ado about nothing time. We are green-white tokening in Modern. This, oh my god, that's so many lands. Too many, I mean, we do have, oh, Garuda, oh my god. Okay, we definitely gonna mulligan this. I mean, I guess this will keep. I mean, we will keep. We will put, we probably, probably put Conclave Tribunal to the bottom. I do not know if we have any, how do we beat, how do we beat Garuda? Temple Garden, untapped. Legion's Landing, go. Opponent. I mean, we'd make a lot of tokens, but can we possibly win before Garuda kills us? Tap land for our opponent. Well, Nissa's not bad. Get him with the vampire, hit our opponent, pass the turn. So we get to flash in, raise the alarm, flip Legion's Landing, secure drive Elder. So we gotta be fast. That is it. Raise the alarm. If our opponent gets to Garuda, we probably die. Opponent. Passes. And I'll go to combat. Attack. Flip Legion's Landing. So I think what we want to do is Nissa here. Yeah. Nissa here because our opponent plays Maluni Acid Moss to potentially blow up a land. So we Nissa here. Oh, can we race? So we Nissa here, make a plant. Next turn we can Intangible Virtue, even if they have Acid Moss, and take down Nissa, and then take down Nissa and see if that can close out the game. Opponent, going to get a bit of life. Up to 19. Yeah, there's Acid Moss, as predicted. Gets a Stomping Grounds. Well, we will tick down Nissa. Intangible Virtue. Horizon Canopy. Hit you for 12. Or 11. Well, this is it. Are we dead? That is the question. We got lethal for next turn. Oh my goodness. Okay, opponent cannot Garuda us, and we were fast enough. Interesting. Bad news is we have like literally nothing to beat Garuda, do we? Rest in Peace doesn't even stop it. Ugh. So I'm guessing we just try to do what we did that game, honestly. Like, be fast enough that we can kill our opponent before we get Garuda'd. Gonna be a little bit tougher this time because we're gonna be on the draw. Do we want? So Path is probably reasonable. Opponent's trying to spin into various Titans mostly, I think. Like Inferno Titans and Primeval Titans. They also probably have Chalice of the Void, which can shut down our 1-drops, which I guess is fine. Auric Champion doesn't really help. Veil of Summer. Well, alright. Maybe we don't even bring in Path. Actually, let's go up 1 Path and down 1 Conclave Tribunal. Right like that. I mean, we saw the recipe last game. Just get on the board quick, attack, hopefully we can kill our opponent before they Garuda us to death. Well, okay. We'll keep this. Missing a way to pump our tokens this hand, but opponent. Overgo Tomb, tapped, passes. Oh, Plains and Legion's Landing. Go. Opponent. Ghost Quarter. And ramps. And passes. Yeah, play Windswept Heath. Pass the turn. I mean, I guess we attack. If our opponent wants to trade, that's kind of fine. We would be thrilled. Opponent's gonna block Zach. Yeah, we really need a Nissa, an Intangible Virtue, some way to pump our tokens into bigger threats. About it. Another Secure Tribe Elder. Do they have a land? Alright, no land. Well, crack this. Grab a... Grab a Godless Shrine. Untapped. Intangible Virtue. Untap. Ooh, Venerated locks it on. That's interesting. Well, go to combat, attack. I don't know if we want to take a turn off, though, is the problem. Opponent blocks, sacks, ramps. Yep, gets a swamp. Well, play Horizon Canopy. Play Sapperling Migration. Use our green mana while we got it before our opponent potentially blows it up here. Alright, opponent does find a land. So they're one away. Acid Moss, well, we will play Raise the Alarm. Alright, well, we'll see. We'll see. Opponent has successfully made it to the 6-drop slot, which is the Garuda slot. We draw Plains. 1, 2, 3. Lingering Souls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Venerated locks it on. Hit you for 5. And alright, let's see what horrible thing happens. Opponent's at 6 mana. How bad is it? How bad is it? Do they have a Garuda? I mean, they gotta have a 6-drop. Yeah, you can see the play draw difference. Oh, goodness. Pyro? Okay. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Ooh. Oh, and another Acid Moss. Okay. Well, this is getting worse. About it. Passes. Well, flashback, Lingering Souls. Temple Garden tapped. Get in for 4. Opponent. Land. So next turn they can definitely Garuda. Primeval Titan. Okay. Oh! Alright. Yeah. A million zombies. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to beat. I think that actually just... So we do have the 2 Lingering Souls tokens. We can exile Primeval Titan, but our opponent has such a big board of zombies now that I'm not sure. I don't think we can get an 8 damage. And they get to Garuda next turn. Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, if there's good news. Well, bad news is we see our opponent's playing Pyroclasm, which is absurd against us. Good news is we are on the play for game 3, which is inevitably on its way here. So what out do we have? It's got to be Intangible Virtue, I think. Land. Yeah, alright. So, like, we attack for 2. We can exile Primeval Titan, chump block a zombie, go to 2, but then we don't have... There's no one card that gives us lethal or lets us survive, so... If we had drawn Intangible Virtue, we could have played it, attacked with our Vigilant tokens, hit our opponent down to 4, Conclave Tribunal, Primeval Titan, block, go to 2, and then hope to fade like the Garuda and win with the Spirits, but, alright. Yeah, well, I mean, this is a Goldfish race. We don't even have sideboard cards, honestly. Do we want slower cards like Gideon? Probably not. It's unfortunate that Graveyard Hate doesn't work against Garuda. That's kind of the dagger, really. That's our plan for unfair graveyard combo decks, but Garuda gets around that. Alright, well, we get to play first. We will not keep 5 lands. Well, okay. This is okay. What do we put to the bottom? Probably a land? Ugh. Alright, we'll see. Opponent's keeping 7 again, which I don't... Oh, no. Keeping 7 and starting with the Gemstone Caverns? Oh, that's not great. That's not great at all. Well, Horizon Canopy, go. Opponent. Radiant Fountain. Gain some life. And the ramp spell. Opponent passes. I'll play a Plains. Pass the turn. Yeah, not feeling great about this. Opponent cracks. Gets a swamp. Yeah, this is like a uniquely bad matchup for our deck. Stomping Grounds. Tapped. More ramp. Gets Garuda. Well, we will raise the alarm. Untap. Windswept Teeth. Crack Windswept Teeth. Get Godless Shrine. Untapped. Venerated Loxodon. Pass the turn. Blast Zune. And opponent has the Pyroclasm. Jeez. Not good, not good, not good. We draw Marsh Flats. Well, we will play a Lingering Souls. Yeah, opponents had very good, very good draws for this matchup in Game 2, Game 3. Having the Pyroclasm both games that's real tough. They probably have like 2 Pyroclasms in their sideboard, so Little unfortunate, but this is a tough matchup. Opponent gonna take up Blast Zone. We just can't interact with what our opponent's doing in any meaningful way. Land, Garuda, and Death. Alright, Garuda, what does it find? We're not gonna give him anything. Oh boy, Secure Tribe Elder, alright. Well, that could have been worse. That could have been worse. Crack this. Get a Temple Garden tapped. Untap. Play Intangible Virtue. Play Lingering Souls number 2. Go to combat. Hit our opponent in the air. Well, maybe. Maybe there's hope here with our flyers. So we hit our opponent down to 14. Venerated Loxodon. Grow the Dorks. Pass the turn. Alright, well, we'll see what our opponent's got. Castle Garenbrig. Combat. Attacks. Well, we'll take it down to 6. Opponent passes. Gonna Blast Zone. Well, we're live. We're live. I'll go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent probably should have cracked this ahead of time so we wouldn't have Vigilance, but... And opposed... Oh my goodness, we got there! We got there! We survived the Garuda token power! Okay. Wow. Well, that was actually pretty impressive for our deck because our opponent had a sweeper both games. Games 2 and games 3. And we were still able to pull off the win. That was pretty sweet. Okay. Go tokens. Oh, alright. Sweet. Alright. Much Abrew about nothing time. We are tokening in Modern this week. Green, white tokens. And, alright, up against Yarion. I guess we'll keep this. I mean, we got tokens. We got a payoff. We got a removal spell, which may or may not be helpful. I mean... Ooh, Ether. Oh, so this is like a Taxes Yarion deck. Interesting. Well, Windswept Teeth. I think we want to be able to crack this before Arbiter can come down. So what we want to do is Sapperling Migration into Spectral Procession into Pump Everything with Venerated Loxodon. That's our game plan. Oh, goodness. You know what's really good against us? That would be Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Yup. Oh, that slows down every spell in our entire deck. I think we gotta play an untap land so we can pay for an Arbiter. Oh, we gotta play so off curve now. Opponent Vials in. Giver of Runes. Yeah, that Thalia's brutal. Brutal. Opponent. Vials in. More 1-drops. Giver of Runes part 2. Alright. Well, we'll see. Opponent gets and hits us. Down to 17. Sacred Foundry untapped. Seasoned Pyromancer to draw a card. Discards a path that wasn't very good anyway. Ugh, yeah, we're in rough shape here. Well, land untapped. Ooh, 3 mana Sapperling Migration. Oh, we're so far behind. Alright, this has not went to plan. I guess it's kind of unfortunate their 80 card deck had Thalia. Like, we don't really care about any of this other stuff. This other stuff is fine. But Thalia in specific, good God, that is really brutal against our deck. Plains for our opponent. Vials in a 3-drop. Oh, another Seasoned Pyro. Oh boy, they're going off. Discard Skyclave, which is pretty dead against us. Good lord, our opponent's going off. Goes to combat. Hits us for a bunch. We can't even do the Spectral Procession into Venerated Loxodon line. Opponent hits us. Yeah, we're taking 5. Down to 10. Alright. Yeah. On to game 2. Well, opponent was on the play and they had Thalia. That is what happened there. We'll bring in the path. Maybe the Kaya? Go down. March of the Multitudes and a Kytheon. Maybe a Gideon would be good too. Let's go down a couple Kytheons. I feel like in a matchup that has all these cheap creatures, it's going to be tough to flip Kytheon. Even if we play it on turn 1 and followed up in tokens on turn 2, by turn 3, we're probably going to have to chump attack or spend our entire turn paying to give it indestructible, which just doesn't feel great. One more path gives us a cheap answer to Thalia. Unfortunately, playing that Sapperling migration probably tells our opponent we're a token deck and they should bring in Wraths or Sweepers or whatever. But I don't think we can afford to bring in Heroic Intervention. I think we just gotta hope that... I mean, our opponent's playing 80 cards. We gotta hope that whatever sideboard hate they have doesn't show up. Oh, we had a good hand, too. Just that Thalia just wrecked us. Well, we need to play first. Well, okay. This hand is interesting. Definitely going to need another land. I do like all these intangible virtues, but we need to be able to play tokens for them to be good. Pathway for our opponent, Giver of Runes. Oh dear. Well, we will play a intangible virtue. Yeah, go attacking. If they want to trade, we're fine with that. Well, do we draw land number 3? That's the real question. If we draw land number 3, this hand's great. If we do not, and we're just playing another intangible virtue next turn, that's pretty bad. Mountain for our opponent. Giver of Runes part 2. And passes. Land, please. Alright, there's a land. So we will... Spectral Procession. Yeah, life is a lot easier without a Thalia on the battlefield. About it. Arbiter. And a Ghost Quarter. And passes. Well, in that case, let's, Spectral Procession? Go to combat, get in with the Flyers. I mean, we do have to fade, like, a Pyroclasm. Or Wrath of God or something. I mean, technically we have Lethal in the air. And even 2 more pump spells. Battlefield Fjorge. Oh boy. Winota, eh? Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. Opponent. Whiff. Whiff. Come on, give us 3 whiffs. 3 whiffs. Woo! Okay. I don't know about Winota in this deck. I'm having second thoughts for our opponent's sake. I don't think I have ever seen 3 straight Winota triggers reveal 0 creatures. That is, I've never seen that before. That's a new one. Okay. Well, we learned something about our opponent's deck. They're playing Winota. Still not sure we really change anything. I mean, dodge the Wraths, fade the Winotas. No Thalia, please. Those are our requests. We're on the draw for game 3, which does make things tougher. 0 lands also makes things tougher. I guess we got a mulligan. 1 land. Oh boy. The problem is, I think we gotta keep it. We'll put Tribunal. Actually, Nissa to the... What are we putting to the bottom? So we turn 1 Legion's Landing. Hopefully draw land. We need this if... Alright, let's put Lingering Souls to the bottom. And pray for lands. Opponent. Battlefield Forge passes. Not a land. Well, untap land. And Legion's Landing go. This hand is super soft to Arbiter. And to our own deck just not giving us another land. And a Thalia. Soft to everything. I guess we could have went to 5, but I don't feel very comfortable with that either. The upside is this could turn into a land if we draw a land for Raise the Alarm. Boot it. Pathway. And... Oh, God. Alright. Oh, boy. Well, yeah. Oh, that's probably game. That's exactly what we needed not to have happen. Pona has a Thalia and we whiff on lands. Now we're 2 lands away from even casting another spell. That is not good. Not good at all. Yeah, maybe we should have went to 5, but there's really no guarantee that going to 5 improves things here. Probably not going to beat the Thalia anyway. Opponent, land number 3, Sunbay Canyon. Seasoned Pyromancer to draw some cards. Discards an Angrass Marauders. Yeah. Well, alright. Sure. Well, that's a bummer. Alright. Much ado about nothing time. We are green-white tokening in Modern, and this hand looks fine. Tokens, payoffs, removal, lands. It's actually pretty... outside of, like, not have... Oh, no, we're up against Canister. That's probably bad news. Canister's really good at Magic. And also... probably playing a combo deck that's a bad matchup for us. Well, we will Marsh Flats, go. Okay, Triome. So, Uropile, we will take Godless Shrine, tapped. Untap. Windswept Teeth, crack it. Temple Garden, untapped. And Sapperling Migration, go. Snoo, Covered Island, opponent, passes. Now go to combat, attack. Temple Garden, untap, Spectral Procession. Got a remand? Mana Leak. Alright, that also counts. Well, pass the turn. Flooded Strand passes. Play the land. Play a Nissa. No counter. Yeah, let's make a plant. Was not expecting it to resolve, honestly. Go to combat, attack. Alright, down to 15. We're making some headway. Until Uros and so forth undo it, but opponent passing. Well, play Kytheon. Take down Nissa. Go to combat. If there's a Cryptic, I think we'd rather attack. Alright, well, there could also be Wraths. Let's play Intangible Virtue. A little bit counterintuitive, but the blowout is if we play Intangible Virtue pre-combat and there's Cryptic tap, it's so bad for us. And we still have lethal next turn, potentially, even without this pump this turn. Fact or fiction? Yeah, I mean, Cryptic versus. We're trying to close out the game next turn. Alright, opponent, that is bad news. That means our opponent potentially has a Wrath, which is what we wanted not to happen. Gross Spiral. Land. Well, I mean, if there is a Wrath here, then we're in trouble. Mystic Sanctuary for Cryptic. Well, there's not double white. Oh, they have a Cryptic in hand? Okay. Well, untap. Go to combat. Cryptic, tap, draws Cryptic. Well, tick up Nissa. Pass the turn. So now we know there's another Cryptic. Yeah, this isn't great. Land. To fairy. To untap lands into Cryptic. Okay. I don't even think we run out this Raise the Alarm at the moment. It doesn't do anything. Untap. Go to combat. Get Cryptic. Yeah. Well. Mega Plant. Tribunal. For Teferi. But we're Cryptic locked now, right? And there's no way we can really get out of this. Red in 6. Like, I'm not sure how we can beat this. Our deck does require attacking for lethal to win. And that's going to be impossible through a Cryptic every turn. About it. I mean, I guess we're hoping they don't have a Cryptic for one turn. They technically don't have one yet. We know there's a Mystic Sanctuary to get one back. Guess we'll probably have to bring in Rest in Peace just because we don't really... Wow! Okay. Sweet. I thought we were... Oh my goodness! Wins the match? Wait, wins the match? Oh! We got the canister scoop. Okay, we'll take it. Sweet. All right, much brew about nothing time. We are... Ooh. All right, we'll keep this. We are green-white tokening in Modern this week. And, I mean, 1-drop, 2-drop to flip it, removal spell. Who knows? Maybe Ormondal. Could happen. Yeah, I don't mind this hand. Especially being on the play. Well, Plains. And Legion's Landing. Go. Polluted Delta. And passes. Well, Horizon Canopy. Go to combat. Get in for 1. Hit our opponent. Yeah, let's pass. I think we want our opponent to not know that we can flip this Legion's Landing. Like, normally, it's better to play... Alright, well, just kidding. If our opponent's blue-white and has probably a million counters, let's Raise the Alarm. We wanted to do it by surprise on our opponent's end step, thinking they were like a Death Shadow deck with Fatal Pushes and so forth, because we would like to flip this Legion's Landing. That gets us to this Westville Abbey a lot quicker. Snow-covered island. Oh, okay. Opponent passes. That is scary. Well, Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Get a Godless Shrine. Untapped. We probably do need to stop this. Go to combat. Attack. Flip Legion's Landing. Conclave Tribunal. Get rid of Abrew. So if that flips, it counters our first spell each turn, which is pretty obnoxious. And our opponent's deck is built around flipping it, with like 0 mana artifacts and ways to repeal them and so forth, so I think it's necessary to get rid of it. Plus, we can't Westville Abbey yet anyway. Opponent. Ooh, Monastery Mentor. That is a scary card. And Opal, or an Amber to make a token. Yeah. And another one to make a... Wow, they were going to flip it. Another Mox Amber to make another token. Hilariously, this game's probably going to be about Ormondal, but they probably also have Teferi's. Oh, God. Well, Explosives on 0 at least kills all of our opponent's monk tokens, too. Well, Horizon Canopy. Sapperling Migration. Pass the turn. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good spot to be. We have 5 creatures. We have the Westville Abbey. Bobble. Pumps the monks. We need to not have to chump block, though, which is awkward. Opponent's out-tokening us at the moment with his Monastery Mentor. Teferi. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty scary start. Cracks the Bobble. Bounces. Mox Amber. Yeah, I think if we have to chump block here, then we just can't win. Because we can't Ormondal. And we do have to chump block here. Jeez, yeah, alright, sure. Well, yeah. That was quite the start. So, how can we compete with this? I guess we can bring in the Path and go down March? I mean, I think the plan's the plan, which is we gotta stay aggressive, but we do need to be able to answer a Monastery Mentor. Auric Champion I don't think is worth it. Gideon feels a bit slow. Alright, run it back. Oh, and they have main deck engineered explosives. That's very obnoxious. Well, we get to play first. Okay. Kind of instant replay of last hand, honestly. Legion's Landing into flip it. The big difference is we do have a Path. Well, Windswept Heath, crack it. Get a Plains. And a Legion's Landing go. Opponent. Still need a way to buff our tokens. That's something we've kind of seen with this deck, is our good games are usually the games where we have an Anthem. Without an Anthem, it's hard to get someone all the way to 0 in Modern without having an Anthem. Oh, God. Okay. Well, now we got nothing. Go, Vampire token. Yeah, opponent takes a Raise the Alarm. I'll play Temple Garden. Tapped. Hit you for 1. Okay. Sure. Manamo. And Rayo. Opponent. Passing. Okay. More lands. Marsh Flats. Crack it. Get a Godless Shrine. Untapped. And Conclave Tribunal. Oh, this is so scary. Get rid of a Rayo. Pass the turn. Yeah, we don't have a clock. We just don't have a clock at the moment. Waterlog Grove. And Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Mills, 2 Emerys and a Mox Amber. Well, play Intangible Virtue. Go to combat. Get in for 2. And I mean, I guess we got a Path Emery? Oh, it does give our opponent white mana, though. I mean, what's the worst? They get back a Mox Amber? Alright. I mean, I guess you get a Mox Amber. Well, we did double our Vampire Clock. Opponent. Polluted Delta. Yeah. Gets back the Mox Amber. Cracks Polluted Delta. Hallowed Fountain. Untapped. Teferi. Ugh. Mentor. Okay, well, we gotta try to path it. Repeals our 1 token to make another token. All right, well, we need to draw like a spectral procession or something. Our biggest problem at the moment is we don't got threats. We don't have any threats. We did, well, okay. I guess that's better than nothing. Pass the turn, but our opponent still, they got these Prowessy Monk tokens, which are better than our tokens. Especially in a deck full of cheap spells. Oh, they got another repeal? Yeah, alright, sure. Opponent. Another Mox Amber grows the tokens. Oh, boy. Oh, dear. Okay, I think we're dead. Yeah, Monastery Mentor is a really good card. We had the answer to the first, but our opponent, they just keep mentoring. I guess that's the upside of most of your cards also drawing a card. You're going to find your stuff eventually. Opponent draws another card. Untaps Emery to recast Mox Amber. I mean, it's sweet to see Monastery Mentor go off, I guess. A little disappointing because we're going to lose, but kind of has some cool synergies in our opponent's deck. Opponent gets in for Infinite, and I don't know if we have an out from here with a single creature and our opponent having a huge board of prowess tokens. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think Conclave Tribunal matters. What a... I guess our deck is prone to getting some pretty awkward draws. That is the downside. Well, I mean, attack. I think we're dead, though. Opponent down to 7. Because they can Mox Amber. That forces us to chump block. Yeah, there's no way out from here. Like this will be 12 total power at least. We have to chump block. We go to 2, and then there's nothing we can draw. So, well, all right. Well, opponent's deck looks sweet. All right, much brew about nothing time. We are green-white tokening and bot. We're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep 1 land, 1 keep. It's gonna work. The magic gods are going to smile upon the tokens. I mean, so the thing is, we have Legion's Landing into Sapperling Migration, which can flip Legion's Landing. So we really only need 1 land, and we're in business, and that is 1 land. All right, Marsh Flats. Crack Marsh Flats. Get a Godless Shrine untapped, and Legion's Landing, go. Opponent. Breeding Pool untapped, so probably Uropile. Well, go to combat, get in for 1. Horizon Canopy, and Sapperlings. Please don't counter it. Alright, we get the Sapperlings, that's good. Well, we'll see if we can... Alright, opponent's got all the cantrips. What is this deck? It's a lot of cantrips for a Simic deck. Triume. Opponent passes. Go to combat. Attack. Flip Legion's Landing. Spectral Procession. Pass the turn. I mean, we do have a lot of tokens. Island. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay. Brainstorms. I mean, we get to kill Jace, which is good. Well, Intangible Virtue. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So not lethal. So we will hit our opponent for 8 and kill Jace. Pass the turn. So I guess we could hit our opponent for down to 2 and then Intangible Virtued. Ugh. Oh, that's a problem. All right, opponent's got a 1-mana sweeper. Yeah, that's really bad news for us. Well, the Jace, I guess, did its job. Opponent follows up with Uro. Goes up to 9. Puts a land into play. Yeah, Terminus is tough. That is a tough card for our deck. I'll play a forest. Play 1, 2. Yeah, I guess we just have to Spectral Procession again. Pass the turn. Yeah, Terminus even gets around our heroic interventions in the sideboard, which is awkward. And this Uro can come back. Opponent cracks Misty. Uro returns. Gain some life, draw a card. Up to 11. Mystic Sanctuary for Terminus. Alright, so life keeps getting worse. Terminus Tribal. I'll play the land, go to combat, attack. Hit our opponent down to 5. No reason to cast anything with the Terminus on top of the deck. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary. Wow, opponent's going to not cast it. Interesting decision. I guess they're going to attack and then hard cast it. Goes up to 8. Well, we'll just take it. This does force our opponent to spend a lot of mana to fairy. Well, let's make some tokens. Opponent cracks. Island. They have Cryptic. Archmage's Charm. Bounces a token. Oh, there's still that sweeper. Well, hit to fairy, hit our opponent. Play Saproling Migration. Marsh Flats, go. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Puts a land into play. Well, we will chump. Interesting. Not terminusing. Well, get a plains. Make a token. So opponent's going to Cryptic. Go to combat. Attack. Archmage's Charm a token. Crag's Flooded Strand. Gets a plains. Shark Typhoons. So opponent's trying to do anything possible to not have to cast this Terminus. Opponent blocks and blocks. Well, play Intangible Virtue. Pass the turn. We don't want to kill the Uro, because if our opponent can have it in the graveyard, then they can recast it after they have to Terminus. Opponent goes to combat attack. They've drawn so many cards. Uro. Opponent puts another land into play. Well, we will block the Uro. Opponent is officially one card away from half of their deck being drawn now. Storm Visions. One on top. Uro number 2. Draws a card, gains some life. Ugh. Yeah, the Uro... The Uro pile matchup feels tough. Oh my god, Uro 3. Yeah, I do not know what we do about this. Opponent's all the way up to 50. Puts another land into play. Well, make a token. Untap. More lands. Well, go to combat. Attack our opponent. Has a path. Oh, so many lands. Opponent goes to 50 to 12. We'll play the land. Lingering Souls. This Terminus, though, is just, that's the issue. That is the problem card. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Draws a card. How do you beat an Uro? Is it possible? Has anyone ever done it? We will make a token. I feel like we've dealt like 40 damage to our opponent, but they're still at 15. Because they've gotten to, I don't even know, 7, 10 Uro triggers? Some ridiculous number of Uro triggers at this point. Opponent, finally going to cast Terminus number 2. Able to get back in Uro, and yeah, I mean, I think this just does it. Too many Uros. Too many Uros. Uro number 2, opponent, or I don't even know. Uro number million, some very high number. Opponent draws a card, gains some life. They gotta have another Terminus by now. Yeah, Terminus is really, really bad for our deck. We got off to a good start this game too, but, well, we will Lingering Souls. We will make a token. We will Venerated Loxodon. And then die. I mean, we build a big board after a million Wraths and a million Uros, but our opponents, they're up to 17. Yeah, I mean, I think this one is just officially over. Opponent goes to combat, gets in with Uro. It never ends. 7 cards in hand. Sure, we will take it. I don't think... I mean, I think the game's just over at this point. Opponent. Terminus number 3. Gets back in Uro. Yeah. I mean, is it even possible that we can win against this Terminus deck? Terminus with Mystical Sanctuary is brutal. Brutal. Alright. Go down this Pump Spell. Go down March of the Multitudes. Go down a couple Conclave Tribunals. Go down a Kytheon. Go up Veil of Summers. And, well, alright, give it a go. Oh, Terminus is uniquely brutal. Like, we have a plan for Wrath with Heroic Intervention, but that plan doesn't work against Terminus. And Uro just doesn't stop coming. That might be the most Uro triggers I've ever seen anyone get. They cast 4, 5, and attacked 5 times at least. So I think with Uro, they, drew 10 cards and gained 30 life, let's say. That would be my estimate. 10 cards and 30 life is absurd. Like, that should win you every single game. Steam Vents for our opponent. Untap for some reason, so they can Serum Visions. Well, this hand would like us to keep drawing lands. Alright, that is not a land. Well, we will play Saproling Migration and pass. Go 1/1s. Opponent. Did put 2 cards to the bottom. Flooded Strand. Passes. Land, please. No. I'll go to combat. Attack. Play Kytheon. Pass the turn. Opponent cycles Lonely Sandbark. Cracks Flooded Strand. It's a Triume. Opponent. Hallowed Fountain. Untapped. For Teferi Time Raffler. Bounces Kytheon. Draws a card. Well, Godless Shrine. Untapped. Replay Kytheon. Kill Teferi. Hit our opponent. Pass the turn. Well, we did draw the mana, although we still don't have double green for Nissa. I wonder if this deck wants 1 Overgrown too, maybe. For fetchability purposes. For, like, Flashback, Lingering Souls, and cast Nissa. Well, we gotta try to win quick. We're not gonna win the late game against our opponent's deck, ever. Well, raise the alarm. Untap. Go to combat. Oh. Here comes Cryptic. This would have been a great turn to have land number 4 for Gideon. But, yeah. Cryptic, tap, draw. But unfortunately, instead, we're just going to have to make more tokens, which sets our opponent up even more for a Wrath or Terminus. Boot it. Yeah, that would have been a great Gideon window for Gideon. That would have been perfect. Because that gets around the sweeper. Like, a 5/5 indestructible is a good way to punish our opponent for sweeping our board. Flooded Strand. Oh boy, is this Cryptic into Mystic Sanctuary, get back Cryptic, just never ending Cryptic loop. Mystic Sanctuary. Hey, it's a Cryptic. It's back. Surprise. Can we draw land at least? No. Oh my goodness. Oh. Cycles, gets the Cryptic. Casts the Cryptic, taps our team, draws a card. We can't really do anything, so we pass the turn. Oh, 2 turns where this Gideon would have been great, but we can't find land number 4. Oh, opponent. Oh, we haven't got Terminus yet, so that's something. Oh, did our opponent finally run out of Cryptic commands for the time being? Sadly, this life gain does put our opponent out of the danger zone. We could have potentially had lethal this turn, so there's an Uro. Doing Uro things. And a Serum Visions. Leaves a card on top. Plays a Breeding Pool untapped. Well, okay. Raise the alarm? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Land? Alright, there's a land. Actually, let's Gideon. Gideon? Alright, how does this go wrong? This goes wrong. Oh, boy. This goes wrong if our opponent has put a Terminus on top of their deck, has an opt, and can opt into it. Emblem Gideon. If that happens, I'm just going to weep. Oh my god, they did. Oh, come on. Alright, and that's the game. Oh, well. Bummer. So what did we learn this week about green-white tokens in Modern? And I think good news, bad news situation. Overall record, we went 2-3, which, not exciting. Would rather be 3-2 or better. That's kind of like the goal most of the time when you play a league, is to at least get 3-2. If you do better than that, that's awesome. 5-0 is great. So 2-3 isn't ideal, although I will say we did run into a couple of really hostile matchups. We ran into a 80-card Yari on Death and Taxes deck that managed to have Thalia on turn 2 both times when they won the die roll. Game 1 and then game 3. 2-3, and Thalia is absurd against our deck. Like, it kind of just beats us by ourselves because all of a sudden, Raise the Alarm, Saproling Migration are 3 mana, Lingering Soul, Spectral Possession, at least 4 mana, and because our main removal spell is Conclave Tribunal, we can't even just kill it. And that's one of the things I would say about this deck. Even though the upside of getting anything, including like Planeswalkers, artifacts, enchantments, that is a nice bonus for Conclave Tribunal, I'm not sure it's better than just playing Path to Exile right now in the format for 2 reasons. One is we got locked by Thalia, and we even had Conclave Tribunal in hand, but we just couldn't cast it, and then Thalia just won the game for our opponent. The other is everyone's all about Skyclave the Operation in Modern right now. It's in so many decks. It might be the #1 creature in the format, or at least close to the #1 creature. And Conclave Tribunal is a pretty juicy target if you want to Skyclave Apparition, get your thing back. So that's my concern with Conclave Tribunal. Might be better as Path to Exile. The other thing we ran into, which was kind of unfortunate, was we ran into an Earl Pile deck, which normally I think we're fine with playing against Earl Pile. We actually beat Canister playing an Earl Pile list, so we know we can beat Earl Pile. However, the opponent was on this weird, like, Pile Miracles list, where they had Terminus, and then they keep putting Terminus on top of their deck with Mystic Sanctuary, and Terminus really insane against us. We have a plan for Wrath, which is Heroic Intervention. However, Heroic Intervention does not actually stop Terminus, so even our tech for beating Wrath against those style of decks doesn't actually work against that Wrath in specific. So all that to say, even though we went 2-3, I think part of that is because we hit some hostile matchups, where our opponent just had the right cards that are really, really good against their deck. Although, at the same time, part of it is our deck, too. Like, we could be playing Path to kill Thalia over Conclave Tribunal, so some of it is deck-building decisions, but some of it was we hit bad matchups. And I think my overall impression of this deck is it has some really good matchups, and it can get some incredibly explosive starts. We're able to, like, flip a Kytheon, flip a Legion's Landing on turn 3, start playing Planeswalkers, go super wide, win the game really quickly. It can get some busted starts. The issue is we're not very good against unfair decks, is one of them. And I think part of the reason is we could improve the sideboard. If you look at our sideboard right now, we have a bunch of stuff for control. Veil of Summer for control, Gideon for control, Heroic Intervention to fizzle Wrath against control. So a bunch of cards we can bring in against control. We have a bunch of cards we can bring in against aggro. Path to Exile, Auriok Champion, Kaya. Those are all good cards against aggro, getting us life, killing things that are cheap. And then we have Rest in Peace for graveyard combo decks, but we don't really have much for other combo decks. If our opponent wants to win with Heliod combo, or if they're going to Ad Nauseam combo us, or storm us off, things like that, we just really don't have an answer for that. And even though our deck can win pretty consistently, like turn 4, maybe turn 5 with a solid draw, we're not going to race unfair combo decks. So I feel like that's something that could be improved. Maybe we need Damping Spheres or Grafdigger's Cages or something like that in the sideboard, taking out a little bit of the aggro and control stuff to have a bit more combo hate. One other, like, super tiny thing that I noticed playing the deck is I kind of want one Overgrowth Tomb. We had a few games where we needed to get a green source to play Nissa, but we also wanted a black source to flashback Lingering Souls, but we didn't really have the option to do that. So I feel like adding in a single Overgrowth Tomb, probably over a Temple Garden, you don't really need 4 of your primary Shockland most of the time, so I think we could easily go down to 3 Temple Gardens. Our mana wouldn't really suffer much at all, and replace 1 Temple Garden with an Overgrowth Tomb. That would give us 2 black sources. That also means if our opponent, like Field of Ruins, our Godless Shrine, we're not going to lose the ability to flashback Lingering Souls forever. Another very interesting possibility with the deck is, speaking of the unfair matchups that were problematic, we could actually embrace the Abzan-ness of the deck. Maybe, because we have Marsh Flats, and we got a bunch of fetch lands, and we can play Shocklands, maybe we add in more black mana, even maybe a single swamp, so we have a basic black source, and then we can play things like Thoughtseize in the sideboard, which would greatly improve those unfair matchups. So I think the deck's sweet, but my overall impression is it has some really good matchups, where it's super easy. We just chump out your stuff, we make a big board, all of our cards are putting multiple creatures on the battlefield. We beat you really easily. If you're trying to 1-for-1 remove us or just attack us with random creatures, those matchups are a breeze. On the other hand, the unfair matchups, or as we saw, just like specific weird things, Thalia, kind of unbeatable for our deck. Terminus, thankfully no one plays Terminus except the one person we played in our league, but it was insane against us. So there's certain weird things that beat us. But overall, I think green-white tokens, I could easily see how Crazy Kickler could 5-0 with it. Like, you hit the good matchups, you dodge the Thalias and the Terminuses, and those really fast unfair decks, play a bunch of fair-ish decks, you're probably going to 5-0 that league because the deck is so good at those matchups. On the other hand, I could also see how this deck could pretty easily go 0-5. You hit a bunch of unfair decks, you run into the Thalias and the Terminuses and fast combo like Oops All Spells or Ad Nauseam, and you're probably going to lose almost all of those matchups. So I think our experience is probably kind of the average experience. I would expect you get a mixture of matchups. You go 3-2, you go 2-3, somewhere in that range. Like I said, I think we get a little bit unlucky to face a Terminus deck of all things, and our opponent's 80-card deck having Thalia. So I could easily see us winning another match with like a little bit more luck, a little bit more going in our favor. Also making our own luck by replacing Conclave Tributo with Path to kill the Thalia. Like that would also have helped in those situations. So I could see it going 5-0. I could see it going 0-5. Most of the time I expect you're probably getting 2-3s, 3-2s, somewhere in that range. So the deck is competitive. It's not super expensive. It is sweet if you like token stacks. It can be incredibly explosive. Just be warned if you pick it up. It does have some really, really bad matchups to go along with some really, really good matchups. So anyway, that's green-white tokens. That's been our Much Abrew for this week. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.